gigantic rings, 30 million years old, found in a mountain of Bosnia, 30,000 million years old. You'll say that I started to drive you crazy with these ancient findings that I announce to you every now and then. No, I don't want to drive you crazy, but to wake you up and not to believe that the system is telling you the truth. I'm translating from a Greek article for you. Researchers have found 30 million year old giant metal rings in the mountains of Bosnia. According to the local population, it's believed that these objects date from the time of the Pannonian Sea, and the legends they suggest that these rings were used by giant creatures that inhabited the area in the distant past. Recent discoveries show a time when giants roamed the earth, and these mysterious giant rings found at the top of the mountains show that they were used by giant creatures that lived in the area millions of years ago. The locals have mixed feelings about these mysterious rings. Some suggested a very simple explanation. According to some locals, these giant rings belong to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was implemented to help transport timber to all the hard mountains of the area. But is that so? Those who support this theory will point out that these giant rings are somehow placed in the mountains at the time when the Pannonian Sea still existed, as the scientists who examine them say. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. These giant rings are used to moor huge ships, and the area was used as a harbor. There are legends in the area that talk about giants and their huge ships. There are assumptions that were made by ancient giants, ancient ship owners, and sailors who inhabited the area in the distant past. Now let's remember the book of Genesis, also on Exodus, where the 12 spies were sent by Moses to see the land of Canaan, the promised land, and they were like, I forget the exact wording, but they were tiny as to these giants who inhabited the land. Now, it's possible that these rings are millions of years old. Is that possible? What material are they made of? Don't expect explanations from conventional archaeology. We said Austro-Hungarian attempt to transport timber, but Russian scientists discovered that they are several million years old. The metals used to make these rings, these two components, are unknown in science, confusing things even more. Residents of the area stated that there are many other findings in the area that cannot be explained, and all these findings are deliberately hidden by the scientists who, as soon as the issue becomes widespread, took part in the research. These giant rings and the giant rocks that appeared to be elaborate were found on hills around Vogoska and between Breza, near Dubrovnik, and in various places in eastern Bosnia. There are also 4 of them in Bjelasnica and Vlasic, Varnica, Prej, Velez, Majevica, Bukovica near Travnik, and Stolac. The locals emphasize how important it is to examine these findings, and the locals have been talking about these mysterious finds for years, and there are mixed feelings when it comes to finds like this. Now, we know that there was a huge Bosnian pyramid that a few years ago was discovered. We don't even know how many mountains in Europe that look like mounds, that look like pyramidal mounds, are actually ancient pyramids. Now, while some suggest that it's literally ancient, others believe that these rings point to the fact that giants roamed the earth in the distant past, and proof of this can be found all over the world. The Pannonian Sea was located in the area of the Pannonian Plain about 30 million years ago, but this sea disappeared about 600,000 years ago. There simply will not be a good reason to create giant rings to moor the ships with them where they would not be able to reach these ports, announced by Methonian archaeologists. Methonians. Now, at the time of the Pannonian Sea, there were no people, say, so who could build the ships? So if there was no one to build the ship, who created these rings? The first humans who made tools date back to about 20,000 years ago. The time between them and the Pannonian Sea is 400,000 years. Now, all this detail is from Wikipedia. Now, in Kozara, where giant platforms are found, there was an island in the ocean, Paratethian, 50,000 years ago. When the Pannonian Sea was withdrawn, the shores appeared. This is why Dragan Romčević, director of the Kozara National Park, says that these giant rings cannot be from this period, but the same was said before him by the Smithsonians. Now, Dejan, his history teacher at Prentier High School, believes that these rings in the Kozara area are one of those incredible mysteries associated with the past. All these mysteries share one and the same fact, that no one can accurately explain their origin and purpose, and these findings are shrouded in mystery. This is a subject that science can't explain because it simply lacks logical facts as answers, and since science can't explain these mysterious objects, humans have no choice but to interpret them themselves, phenomenon, and then everything becomes possible, some say. Now, the fact that the Smithsonians got involved after the Bosnian War proves everything in itself. The locals say that in addition to these giant rings in the area, were found the remains of giants where they were over 15 feet tall, where during the Soviet era all the findings went to Moscow by airlift and with military planes. Now, what could these huge rings in the mountains of Bosnia, where they are 30 million years old, be? What is also in Kozara, the giant platforms with the giant rings? Who can tell us exactly what it was? However, the rings are still there, fortunately from those who were not found or not shown to the Smithsonians by the locals. I say this because many testimonies say that after the visit of these people, many of the items were destroyed or taken away. Fortunately, though, there are many of them in some places and not only as evidence. If the archaeologist Alec Javeric accepts the request of our team of the year, we will have more information about these findings. Let's not forget the largest pyramid of the world in Bosnia, and you'll be surprised what has been found. Where it has been officially found, and the archaeologists and the first and best Smithsonians do not accept it as a pyramid, slowly, so do not accept these here. Of course, after the shocking proofs of this pyramid, they wrote a few words on their website. And now you see, they do not want man to learn the history of the earth with anything, for any reason. Now connect these giant rings with the pyramid of Bosnia. We have nothing else to say. Next time, be well. Until next time, be well. Remember, if you do not believe in something, this does not mean that it does not exist. And I've translated this for you from Greek. And again, more questions come up concerning forbidden archaeology. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.